Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode is another of those really fun episodes where I went into the archives and found some old pictures. And in this episode, I got some old pictures of what my room used to look like back in 1993. Okay, so now I made a video before where I had, showed you pictures of my room back in 1987, 88. So that's, a little bit earlier when I first got into anime. So now this is several years later when I've, now accumulated stuff. I've now started fan subbing stuff, and I've really just started, to pick up the pace, as it were. Okay, and so this is what my room sort of looks like at that time. So, again, before we begin, I want to remind everyone to go down below, click like, and click subscribe, and you can see all the other various videos that I've come out with. I also built a little database, which helps people get into all the other videos that I've released. Now I've got I've got over 200 videos all available here that you can go and look at and talk about different parts of anime and that kind of stuff. Again, have a look at that because again, YouTube doesn't help me suggest any of these videos for you. So again, do look at that. That would really be a good index for you. Okay, links below. Okay, so in today's episode, yes, I'm going to go get into some good old-fashioned pictures of what my room used to look like and give you a perspective of what some of the stuff actually is. Some of the things that the hold, and try to give you some real life things that you can gauge it against, right? So let's I'll give you a little bit of history. So again, when I first came down to Vancouver, I got a house and moved into a place around Joyce the Joyce station bus loop. Okay, so even before the SkyTrain was even built, they had a bus loop, and I had I was very close to that particular bus loop on the corner of Joyce and Kingsway. Anyway, it's a little house or whatever. That's when I first started, with getting into Japanese animation. So my collection is just beginning. I've shown that, I used to, keep a lot of my books and that kind of stuff on milk crates and that kind of stuff, and kind of began. That's how it sort of began. I laid my video cassettes all along the walls and that kind of stuff, and that's sort of how my collection started. And now this is 1993. So now I've moved over to a place still in East Van. It's more towards the middle of Vancouver now. It's closer to what they refer to as the Renfrew Broadway area. And and again, before they built Renfrew SkyTrain station, I moved in there, and basically now I've fully kicked into collecting Japanese animation. I'm now fan subbing Japanese animation. Again, this is still before Windows 95 because it's 1993, so Windows 95 hasn't come out yet, right? And so now I've now set up a lot of computers to help fan subbing and that kind of stuff. I've now starting to collect a lot of Japanese animation kind of stuff and lasers and that kind of stuff. So this is sort of a view of what my room looks like, and I'm going to try to give you some real life, sort of perspective and some dimensions, okay, so that and you kind of get a feel for how big and how large certain things are, and you can kind of gauge it from that, okay. So I'll go through the pictures in that respect, and we'll see if we'll go through those, all right? Okay, so without further delay, let's begin. So right away, let's begin with the entrance. So basically, here is a picture of Vince. He's coming into the room, and as you can see, he's agreed with a couple pictures of Madoka. There's a picture of Kimitakada's Kanaka and Noah, on the wall there. As he's coming in, there's a coat hook there. And I can see that on the blue jacket on the coat is one of the Orange Road jackets that we made. Again, we'll have to get a close-up of that one day. But the other two things that are of note, directly on the right-hand picture part of the picture is my tape rack. Okay, this is the sort of revision 1 of my tape rack. And on the other hand, on the left-hand side is basically a steel construct stand, which is used to basically hold various different books and other odds and ends and that kind of stuff, and I'll show you a closer picture of that one. Okay, so that's sort of the orientation of the room before you enter the room. Okay, so let's start with the tape rack. That was on the right hand side. You can see that's on top. Our drink of preference is on the top here, as well as I see a copy of the City Hunter 3 Laserdisc box set. And again, gracing the walls is another Kimi Takada picture of Noah, and looks like a picture of Bubblegum Crisis on there. Okay, so let's talk about this tape stand. Okay, so as you can see, it basically looks like a bunch of video cassettes put on a different sort of shelves on this tape rack. Now, the thing about this thing is that this tape rack is actually a shelf that holds video cassettes 3 deep. So there's basically behind this rack there are basically 3 video cassettes deep of video cassettes, and the shelf itself is about 6 feet long. And each individual shelf, as you notice, is being held together by basically a sliding shelf, right? So basically each shelf can slide out like a keyboard shelf, can slide right out, and you'll be able to access all the different layers and all the tapes behind the first row of tapes. Okay, now this whole entire shelf has 5 of these shelves that actually slide in and out. So basically, each shelf can hold 216 tapes. There's 5 of these shelves that slide in and out. That allows me to, and there's a space underneath that allows me to put stacks of tapes that don't fit in any logical order. Okay, so on the left-hand side of that picture was this metal racking. Okay, so here you see 2 metal racks. Okay, one just sort of holds all my miscellaneous parts and various connectors and that kind of stuff. And then right beside it is a stack of dubbing tapes, which of course I probably had to do dubs and that kind of stuff for. And these are all the orders that people were asking for, so I put them on this sort of filing cabinet there. And then behind that is probably the most convenient part, is this sort of metal rectite shelf. It's got basically 5 shelves and basically your standard height there, and you can see it's covered with basically magazines and books and that kind of stuff. But you see a lot of these green bags. Okay, those green plastic bags are the bags from a Wase bookstore. So this is basically where I threw all the books, where I kind of I just bought them. I haven't had a chance to sleeve them up and put the protective bagging around them or anything like that. I just sort of okay, I got them. I don't want to feel like sorting them out right now, so I'm just gonna throw them onto this shelf, and kind of I'll when I get time I'll do it. And as you can see, I've kind of left it for several weeks, because I'm thinking every week on Fridays we do the Iwase run, so we go down there, we buy stuff. So I see at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks worth of magazines that are still in the bags as I bought them, and still not even taken out of the bags and put away yet. And of course that's not including all the stuff that's sort of lying already there, not being put away and that kind of stuff. So this is sort of where I kind of left things where kind of I'll get to it later kind of section. So you can kind of get this sense of, well, I'm buying so much stuff, I don't even know where to put it right now. So this is kind of that sort of indication at the shelf. So basically, every green bag there is a separate purchase that I went through, obviously, to Wase on a certain week, and I still haven't put it away yet. It's still in the bag when I bought it, and I just sort of came in and said, okay, I'll just throw it on top of the pile here, and then go off and do some subtiling or something, and just kind of left it there. So that's sort of an indication of some of the stuff I've got there, still yet to be put away. Okay, so we go back to the right side again. So again, from the left side of the picture, you can see the videotape shelf that I was describing there. You can see 5 distinct shelving layers there, and then of course empty space at the bottom where basically just have some loose tapes and that kind of stuff. And beside that, of course, we have my fridge, which I kept all the cans of Coke and that kind of stuff to keep it nice and cold. And then beside that, again, another one of these very familiar 5 shelf, sort of erect steel shelving. Okay, and now this time, this side is the organized side. Okay, so this is where I've actually sorted it out and put the mangas and that kind of stuff in the right order. Books and that kind of stuff, magazines are in the sort of in the right piles, and then just sort of around the corner there is another shelf that has more mangas. There's art books and that kind of stuff in the back. Again, with the familiar milk crates, which hold again some more of the magazines and the books and that kind of stuff. Right across the top, I can see I have my Heavy Metal Elgheim Mark II there, as so it's part of the figures and that kind of stuff. And so yes, again, so this is the sort of the organized part of the library, if you will, as opposed to the other side of the shelf, which had all the big mess of stuff that I got from the Wase. Okay, so let's go back onto the left-hand side again. So you can see right on the very tip edge of the right-hand side, you can see the shelf with all the little green Wase bags and that kind of stuff on it. Directly right next to that is my entire Manga Show. Okay, so as you can see here, this is a fairly long structure that goes all the way down the hallway. So this basically this hallway goes down to the bathroom, and then there's a bedroom at the end of this hallway here, as well as a crawl space that goes up to the extra storage space. But as you can see here, it basically goes from the ground to the ceiling, 8-foot ceiling. There's approximately 8-9 shelves of manga, basically from the bottom to the top. This entire shelf is approximately 10 feet long. So, if you go to a standard Barnes and Noble or Chapters or Indigo or that kind of stuff, most of the sections are broken up into 8-foot sections. So this is almost a section and a quarter essentially of manga, basically from the floor to the ceiling. There's it's not 100% full, obviously, because you see there's a bunch of video cassettes and that kind of stuff sort of lined up along the way here, and some smaller little kits and that kind of stuff I just kind of put on the side here. But yeah, so basically, yeah, this is the organized section of long-running mangas and that kind of stuff that I was collecting, and you can see that it goes on, quite a lot of kind of stuff. And then here's another picture of Sam, who's browsing through the manga, as do most of my friends when they come over. They just kind of come in here, they sit there, and just like you would see kids in a Barnes and Noble or Staples, sitting there reading manga. And again, there's no English translation at this time. It's very, very few sort of bundled trade paperbacks of manga. Most of the stuff is straight in Japanese still. Okay, so now when you turn around and look into the room now, this is what you'll see. Basically, here we have standing up, we have Bill Jang and Muji Ramen. Those are the two people who went down to San Diego Comic-Con with us on one year, and they bought their art portfolios, and they're the guys who got their artwork featured on the Academy Comics for the Robotech series. So you can check the covers that they have there. And then sitting down is basically me and for some strange reason I'm still in my pajamas. Probably because late at night I'm always comfortable. Anyway, and Ron here, Ron Chung, he's a friend from Hong Kong. And so so here we are. We're all sitting here and looking at different things that you can see here. So basically, be right behind them, there is the bank of computers in an L-shaped sort of desk. We have the timing and subtitling computers and whatnot, and then obviously to the right-hand side here we have the BBS computer, which we held the prototype generation BBS. So you can tell right behind Bill here is the starting of my Japanese CD collection. Okay, and this is my anime collection, that kind of stuff. And you can see this is a standard 36 CD rack. Okay, so it holds 12 CDs high, 3 CDs wide, so 36 CDs, and I've got 3 of them stacked on top of each other on top of the fireplace mantle here. And looks like I got a stack of 3 on one side, a small stack in the middle, and then again another stack of probably like 2 more of these things on the opposite side. Sort of bookends, and that's sort of like the beginning of my CD collection. Again, straight Japanese. This wasn't part of the larger set that I was trying to collect later on. These are the ones that I specifically wanted and specifically ordered out of that CD catalog. Again, directing your attention to the posters that are on the wall. More Kimitaka stuff. There's the Orange Road picture at the top of the CDs. There's a large one of Noah with their Pat Labor. There's a Kimitaka drawing of Lika-chan, the DVD promotional poster for that one. Beside that in the corner is a picture of Bastard. And I see another I do believe that's the Orange Road with the can pop and the um, lying on the bench or the beach blanket there, and then also there's a Madoka. I think it's the cover of Sound and Color 2 against that wall on the side over there. Okay, so it is with this setup that we did all the various different subtitling and all the all the translational work and editing and that kind of stuff we did. That's why we had multiple computers all set up. And one to do the actual timing and that kind of stuff. The other ones to do some editing. Again, we also ran the bulletin board system on another computer, and we did transfers and that kind of stuff between file types and that kind of stuff with another computer. So we did a lot of kind of stuff here. So sometimes the computer work was rather intense and that kind of stuff. So sometimes we worked all the way out into the night and very very late at night sometimes. And there would get probably more than a couple occasions where I probably fell asleep in the chair. So that was not uncommon back then. And here's another sort of farther out picture that you can see here. And you can see here Ron looking at like CD, and I think I see Daisuke here sitting, staring at the TV. I guess maybe watching some video games or whatever. But you can see in this picture, I just want to point out that you can see that better picture of the CD rack right behind on the fireplace there, which has a lot of my Japanese collection of CDs over there. And then just right underneath the table, I see some milk crates with some laser discs. So obviously these would be the ones that I'm sort of currently working with. So I'm not going to put them back on the shelf right away. I'll show you the shelf that the lasers go on in a little bit. But these are I guess you should say the working ones that I'm currently using. Okay, so here is a slightly newer picture, slightly updated, because obviously what I've done is I've removed the bench-like table that all the computers are on and replaced it with an actual desk, okay, an office desk, and then basically wrapped the computers around and the accessories around in sort of a U-shaped pattern around the chairs. Okay, so a little less room in front of the computers, but now everything's sort of in access within the turning radius of the chair. Okay, the wall's pretty much the same, the CDs and the posters and other stuff. Like the other new thing that you that are of particular notice is right against the right-hand side here is a big column of CDs. So not only have I got so many CDs that it filled the rack on the fireplace mantle, but on the left-hand side, there's this huge rack of CDs. So the CD rack on the bottom is a floor-standing it's basically 3 wide by about 50 high. So that CD rack probably holds like 150 CDs in that particular rack there. Now I have a second one that's on top of it. Okay, it's 4 wide and looks to hold about 25 CDs in a row. So there's probably another 100 CDs loaded on that one again. So now this is when I'm getting a lot more into the Japanese animation CDs and that kind of stuff. It's overfilled the one CD rack, and now I took a second CD rack and now filled that one up now, and going on with now. Ron also made me notice that because that L's out a little bit, that CD rack appears to be floating in the middle of nowhere. It's not actually floating in the middle of nowhere. It's attached to another rack. I'll show you that rack next. Okay, so here's the rack that the CD rack is attached to. It's my Laserdisc rack. Now you can see in the beginning, it was just a simple wooden rack, your standard IKEA type rack. Okay, but it is obviously outgrown that rack in such a way that I actually had to put a piece of plywood onto the side of it. Okay, and then basically attach the other side and basically screw that against the wall so the whole thing doesn't fall over. Okay, so as you can see, it's just a standard kind of an IKEA rack. It basically extends from the floor right up to the ceiling. It holds 5 shelves of laser discs. Okay, and it's both sides. So it's this side, and obviously the opposite side on the other side is all filled with laser discs. Okay, and if you do a quick close up here, I can see things like the SPT Laser box set 1 and 2 on the top shelf there. There's a Energy 19 and the Laminate 40 DX is right next to it on that shelf there. I see the Aurora Battler Dunbine set right at the very front here. That big thick red one there is the Cream Lemon LD box set. So this definitely significant box sets that are on this shelf. Okay, and and you can see just on the right side of the screen, this is the manga shelf that you see. Just because you're going down the hallway, down the middle there. This is the edge of the manga shelf as you see on here. So this is the thing that basically held all my laser discs. All right, I hope you found that to be a great blast in the past. Hopefully that will give you sort of an idea of what we had to go through to get anime. And again, this is a sort of a different era that you have to imagine, because again, there's no Windows, all right. So there's no browsing stuff. There's no streaming or anything like that. It's just, if you wanted to enjoy anime, you physically had to have you physically had to have the media. You actually had to have the books and things like that to get images and pictures. You had to have the videotapes in order to view the anime. You had to have lasers to actually view anime. You had to have the CDs to listen to music. So that was the only way you could do it, right? And so this is totally different era than what we have nowadays. Okay, and I hope you find that very educational. Okay, so don't forget to stay tuned. We got more videos coming up about anime, especially got what the my anime list coming up. We're gonna do 1989, try to get that all finished so that I can do a big huge tier list for like the best animes for 1980s, and sort of do that as a one whole decade of anime coming up. So definitely want to go stay tuned for that. All right. So until next time, see you again.